we work with museums in three basic ways. The first way is what we would call strategy, which is management consulting. So that means helping a museum with its business plan, with its strategy, develop its goals, understand its audience. So that's a strategy stream. Another way we help museums is through exhibitions. I think that speaks for itself. And then the last way is through facility planning. So say a museum wants to build an addition or a brand new museum. We develop the program of space that the architect uses to then design it. Now when you do all three together, that's a master plan, and that's what we do. And to the question of whether we work with museums after they open, yes, of course we do. Some museums, if they're long-standing and they don't need us, new museums typically do need us. So first I'm going to show you my book, which is Soft Power, Cities, Museums, and Soft Power. Soft power is a pretty simple idea. It's the idea that persuasion is a better method of creating change than war, either economic or military might. So that's the idea of soft power, and it's an idea that's growing in the face of a lot of hard power in the world. Now, for museums have a very special role that they can play in soft power, because the more a museum creates understanding among people, the more it enables soft power. Acceleration of soft power means acceleration of people-to-people communication, and museums do this very, very well. I'd like to give an example. So here in the exhibition hall, we saw a wonderful example of an art museum that has a special program to help migrants adjust to life in the Russian Federation. So in a way, that's a soft power project, because helping people adapt to their surroundings rather than forcing them to change, that's an example of soft power in a museum. Well, museums are very privileged institutions. For one thing, even though they never have enough money, nobody ever has enough money, they have pretty good funding and people love them. And so to the degree that people love the museum, they have a great deal of influence in the world and in the environment and in the community. And so the challenge for museums is how to use that very positive basis to actually make a difference in the world, to build credibility in their communities, and to involve more people in the museum. So those are challenges. They can solve those challenges by just doing a better job at everything, but above all, they have to put the visitor first. You know, 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, museums were only about the collection, to preserve the collection, to repair the collection, to secure the collection. Now, I think we take that's the basis of everything, but the real reason for a museum is the public. So the museum needs to embrace the public. Right, so I think a young person who wants to work in museums should, of course, get a good education, that's necessary, but maybe equally or more important to that is volunteer, work in a museum, even if you're not paid. Because by working in the museum, you get to know a museum, you get to feel what a museum feels like, you get to experience the passion that the people working in the museum have, and you also get to experience the visitor. So I think that even more important than a good education is to learn to love a museum, and you can only really love a museum by being a volunteer. So that would be my big advice. Then of course they could get our books off the internet and read the books. They're full of very good technical information, but I think everything starts from in here, and you can only know the museum by working there.